97.7 The Q and 98 Gold. It is Therapy Thursday with Dr. Nicki Monty. So today is a big day for Dr. Nicki.
Big day for Dr. Nicki. Yay.
Yes. Book launch.
Because today is, okay, it is the launch, the soft launch, we call it, that the launch of The Divine Traumedy of Nicki Joy. In case nobody knows, that's me, Nicki Joy. The Divine Traumedy of Nicki Joy, a true grime tale. And the book is available for pre-sales. And you just go to my website, and which I know you'll do, Dr. Nicki. Stucknomore.com is the easiest way. Stucknomore.com /books, and it'll take you right to the page where you can order the books.
Okay.
So anyway, so today's the launch. Tonight's the launch, and people do launches a lot of different ways. My deceased husband used to say I could complicate a 2-car funeral. Correct.
So my
favorite
phrase is when someone's incompetent, I say they could blank up a 2-car funeral.
That's right. That's right. Well, I can complicate one, and it's true. And before I was one of the many things I was, and the longest thing I was before this long thing called being a therapist, I was an actor. Which is why the audiobook of my book is better than most people's audio, because it's read by the author, and the author knows how to read, as opposed to it's read by a stranger who knows how to read, but it's not the author.
Sure.
So, even during the audiobook, every once in a while you'll hear me crack because I start crying, and I, push through the crying, but it's, I'm in the story, and
lived
it's
it.
Yeah, I lived it. So anyway, I'm doing it a little bit differently. I mean, people sometimes they have a couple of readings from the book they do themselves, or they ask a friend to come and read. Or I went to one with this wonderful writer that's a close acquaintance, and he's been writing forever, and he had a question and answer. He had a person interview him, so to speak, at the beginning. A friend of his interview him about the book, and it was lovely. I must have been his 5th or 6th book, right? So it was he had a noteworthy backlog, so to speak, of things to say about himself, and that was lovely. Yet that's not me. We're having a coffee cart. We're having pastries. We're having video. What do you call that? Where you stream pictures. They just keep playing. Whatever you call that, a slideshow, right?
Gotcha.
A slideshow of my history, of people from my history. We're having. I have clips, audio clips from the book, followed by that lead into live readings, because the book is written there's a lot of dialogue. Somebody is going to make a movie or a 6-part miniseries on this thing. And seriously, that is the intent. But it's got all of these different elements and a lot of movement. And I'm telling you, I did a lot of killing of the babies this week, because it was a 45-minute play by them. You can't have people sit. I mean, the point is for them to get excited and buy the book, right?
Like tickle them,
This is get excited, take a nap. I don't know. So it was a little bit long. So it's going to be a little mini performance. Which I think is a little bit, it's a little bit different than some launches. If I get to go speak in books, do signings in bookstores, which is a whole other, how does one get those is a mystery. I have a friend who, or again, a close acquaintance who has a book. It's doing very well. He's had other books. And I said, well, how did you get to this store? And he said, oh, it's very tricky. And that was his help for me.
Right. I was hoping you could cut all the trick out of it. Right.
Oh, that's funny. Hey,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna need a follow-up to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But be more
Yeah.
specific.
right?
I don't, that's a language I don't speak.
Right.
So it's so funny. And we have we made bookmarks of the, laminated bookmarks of the cover, which you've
Oh,
seen.
nice.
Do you have the
Okay.
book there? Oh, you don't.
I
Uh,
have it on the link
we just have the
in my
audio.
mail.
We
We
have
have the
the audio book. We don't
audio
have the
book.
book yet. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can you hold on for 1 second?
Sure.
Can
Sure.
talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, well, it's coffee talk with
It's
Dr. Nikki
coffee.
this morning. You talk amongst yourselves. It's here's the topic. People
Not
walking out on podcasts.
coffee.
Go ahead.
Go-
It's a podcast. Remember when radio was actually radio and you didn't have to. This
I
is
know.
Oh, yay!
Look at that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
cool, huh? And it's
Yeah.
Jack, which
That's
I
great.
love.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting that all those cracks are what happened in my life. Everything that broke me, broke me, broke me. And the idea behind the cover and then what happens in the book is what I call the kintsugi fix, which is the Japanese art form of
Yes.
taking things that are broken and
Uh,
mending them with veins of gold.
Hmm.
mhm.
So, we're all broken. Everybody's broken. Coming into life is a break away from
Yeah.
source. And so we come into life, and here we are,
Sure.
screaming and giggling and doing all the things and having chats. With this new baby Banks, I have a lot of conversations with him, trying to get him to, tell me what he remembers from before, because there is a point at which I think babies are very what we call close to the veil, where they have this memory that they come in with. They're not quite here, they're still a little there, wherever there is. And so and he's chatting about it. I don't know exactly what he's saying, but he is chatting about it
Mhm.
very.
Wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we come in, we're broken off, and then of course life offers us ever more opportunities to face our breaks and aches. And then as the book proceeds, and throughout, there is a lot of insight on my part. I'm very raw. I'm very vulnerable in the book. I tell the truth about myself. It's not always pretty, and through that, hopefully, people will find new ways to tell the truth about themselves, or not, as they
So,
prefer.
so here's my thing. Whenever I was thinking about the book, there were so many thoughts that I had. Is it
Mhm.
easier or harder for you to be a therapist doing this? Meaning, do you recognize, is it easier for you to recognize things in yourself, or is it like, whoa, not going down this path?
It's
And you
easier to it's easy at this point because I have hit a certain level of development that's pretty solid. It's easy to do it because I'm doing it in retrospect. I'm looking at what happened with an overview, and I say often during the book, what was I awake during this? Not so much. I mean, the
Mhm.
choices I made tell the tale. You can't be conscious and have self-esteem and make some of the choices I made. Those don't go together. They simply don't. And so
Hmm.
we can see who we are, how we are, what we are, where we are by what happens in our life. It's not complicated in that sense. To know what's propelling us to make those dreadful choices, that's a little more complicated. But I remember I've been working on myself for about, 2 million years. And so it give or take.
Sure.
And so I have a lot of insight into myself in the moment of, what just happened. We don't always remember the insights. Then the idea is I have insights, but that's just the gateway. And then I go into the garden with the actions that report the insights,
Mm-hmm.
that I have to do something about it,
Right.
so to speak. I have to change my reactivity levels. I have to realize it's not personal. How people behave towards us is not personal. And mostly, I have to take responsibility and realize that I have made, uh, I wouldn't say deliberate, I would say disastrous choices along the way. And there were reasons for that. I think as a therapist, uh, or having studied, I think I became a therapist because I'm doing so much therapy on myself. I was going to therapy. I want to pay back for all the money I spent.
Sure.
But
Right,
really,
but it's gotta be I picture it's gotta be difficult for you. Are you a fixer normally? Are you someone who tries to solve it?
I think I started out early on I was a natural empath and rescuer uh, of the underdog, right?
Mhm.
At boarding school, there's no lack of underdogs. So
Right.
there's no, everybody feels like they were, especially when you start as young as I did in second
Sure.
grade.
Mhm.
You maybe some people who go to boarding school for their 11th and 12th year, so they have better back in the day, they have better grades for college or whatever. That's a different group
Yeah.
of people.
Mhm.
But people who were there, I was there 11 years, so my companions or my peers were also 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 12 and those kinds of ages. And there really isn't, this is a broad brush statement, but I'm going to say 99.9% of kids who are sent to school that little to sleep away school feel discarded,
Right.
Makes
feel
sense.
like an interruption in their parents' life, feel like they've done something wrong. Sometimes they have done something wrong.
Mhm. Mhm.
So there was a lot of helping the underdog, and so that was very natural to me. Being talkative, clearly very natural to me.
Mhm.
And I always wanted to be an actress as a little girl, so that was, I had to be in the spotlight. Very natural to me. Not that therapy's being a spot. I'm just saying, this
Yeah.
that's the so things that are natural to kids right away, and with your kids, some are more outgoing right away, and some are more inward right away, and some are sharing, and they can't wait to have other people play with their toys too, and some are touch my toy, I'll kill you.
Right.
It's kids show themselves very quickly who they're going to be on the natural level. And then life complicates that, right? Or amplifies it or undermines it, whatever it does. So it never occurred to me to be a therapist throughout my life. Never occurred to me. I was going to be an actor, or I was going to be famous, more exactly. And that was that, right? And then everybody would love me and nobody would throw me away again.
Mhm.
And of course, that's not the way it works. There's no business in the world, probably, I'm guessing, that faces more rejection and abandonment than the acting world.
Mhm.
Right.
No, 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 no. Oh, okay. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What
Yep.
can we fix? How can we change you to make you more
But
approachable?
I would imagine too being a therapist because I wanted to first I wanted to be a lawyer, then I wanted to be a therapist. Then I got into sales. So, but but I realized I couldn't do the therapist because I wanted to be an advocate for children.
Uh-huh.
And then I would start to cry in every class. Like they'd be, here's here's our case
Well,
today. And I'm like, okay,
yeah.
can a
Well,
therapist cry with their patients? Because if not, I'm in the wrong.
sometimes, I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes, but somebody has to row the boat.
right,
You need to feel safe that you can
right,
say anything to me and
hmm,
I'm not going to start flipping out
Lose it.
inside.
right,
Mhm.
So
right.
we have to be we have to be a caring witness, I would call
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
And keep our eye on the big picture. And
Mhm.
people, when they, the things that move me most at this point aren't the terrible stories; they're the sweet stories.
I'm gonna pull us back to the book
Topic
because
of
I
the
want this.
book.
Yeah, I want this to be about the book. So today is the book launch. Yes. Uh, 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 so and so and we'll get of course you can go to stucknomore.com to get everything on you, and then it's
Forward
also
slash books.
/books. I'll get that out there, and then it's also going to be wherever books are sold, right? I mean, you can get it on Amazon and things like that
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's where the links on the website take you to all the
right.
places, to the audiobook and to there's a Kindle and there's an ebook and there's a paperback and hardcover.
Wonderful,
Okay,
wonderful.
so
So
I need to know this though. I know you're going to ask a few questions, but is there anything in the beginning to become a bestseller that we need to know to help you? Like, is there anything?
Certainly you can go on, you can go on your site, my site, and give fabulous reviews, should you like it. You
Okay.
could, there's a thing, so this is funny because I know nobody, are you guys on TikTok?
yes,
Yeah.
I'm so amazed because it seems like nobody under, over 12 and a half was on TikTok anymore. But anyway, there's a subset of TikTok called Book Talk.
oh,
And you can go, I can't do it for myself, but you could go on Book Talk and talk about the book.
Oh,
That's
okay.
really, that's sort of a ground, like
Yeah, I would
ground
imagine that's
swell
going
or
to spread
whatever you
like,
call it.
yeah,
Yeah.
wildfire.
yeah.
Well,
Oh, that's
so
good.
that's
Yeah.
a good thing. Talking about it online, telling people to get it. And
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe we'll figure out as we go along some kind of special for your listeners.
Okay.
Great, great. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and then I know that we'll be able to like in we'll be able to put some stuff on the screen where people could just click on a link and go to it and things like that
Great.
as we move forward. Um, so yeah, so we'll make sure we get that going as
Yeah,
well.
and we're
So,
gonna, we're gonna pump this puppy.
Absolutely, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. There's lots
After
of ways.
I'm not really sure if that's an actual metaphor we want to
pump the,
use. Anyway,
I don't know. We're gonna sell
yeah,
books. That's what we're gonna
we're
do.
yeah.
gonna sell
We're gonna
books.
sell books. Yes,
Sell books.
and then the audio book will be on Audible and things like that. We'll have to make sure we.
It's on Audible now, and
Ooh,
there's one more link that was, they take their time, the Amazons and the thises and that's.
yeah,
But anyway,
yeah.
yeah, it's
Well,
on Audible and it's on another thing too. It's on Barnes and Noble and things like that.
wonderful. So what I was going to ask is, um, I know that we kind of talked last week a little bit about the idea of how you got started on the book and all that stuff, but it's not um, what I would call your typical chronological biography.
No,
So
it's
so what I mean, I know it's a bunch of stories, but how far back do we go? Because I know you're a big proponent of a lot of who we are goes way back, way
origin stories.
yeah.
Well,
So
one
how
of
far
the
back do we
first,
go, and where does it go through? I know we start
yeah,
with your former husband passing away.
we have a little flash
Hmm.
of him.
Hmm.
It's a spoiler alert sort of thing.
Yeah.
But we have a little flash of him, and I mean, I start with a little. I mean, the preface talks about the base of the book, which is that it's a love story, and it's a very old love story. About it's the based in. I actually realized this somewhere like a year or a year and a half into writing the book. I didn't think this wasn't my preparation, but the Eros psyche. Eros is also called Cupid some of the time, right? Eros psyche uh, myth. And Eros is love, and Psyche is soul. So this is a conversation about how, without soul, love is empty, and without love, Without soul, love is empty, and without love,
Soul is empty.
soul is destined to wander aimlessly.
Hmm.
So it's this conversation around how soul and love want to dance together, and that each uh, excite and amplify and allow. And the thing is, with Conrad and I, we were what I call the immature psyche and soul. We were it didn't go well, but it went, and it was a lot of, we worked at it, or certainly I worked at it very, very hard, and he worked at it kind of. And then, and in the course of my life with him, I was working through some of my early damage, right? So I came out of, and very early on in this story is my birth story, which is, I think, quite funny-ish. It's all like quite funny-ish, depending upon your point of view.
Right.
So it starts at birth, but it's not a linear piece. So I go into all the things that are happening, or the different stories, or the different things that I chose uh, along the way, and then it might flash back to what encouraged or drove that decision, right? So I came in feeling like I was an interruption, not very, I knew it was going to be. I joke to say that I feel like I looked out of the birth canal as I was going through, and popped out my head and went, "Oh God, buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride." And then, so right from the start, right from the gate, I knew this was going to be, more trick than treat. And it was so it watches that development. And how did I get that idea? What did I do with that idea? And who was I? What was my soul doing in the meantime? My soul always wanted to make my mark. My soul always wanted to do more, do better, make whatever my idea was at the time. So, but your question was originally, Cheryl, is how was it being a therapist, looking at all that? It was, I looked at myself the way I look at other people, through pattern. I looked at my patterns. And so there are certain threads that go through the book. And one of the threads is self-loathing. And how did I move through that? And that's told through story. One of the threads is the mother-daughter story. And in my case, fairly disastrous mother-daughter story. The father-daughter story, also not so pleasant. And, the father-mother story, stories lead into the partner stories.
Mhm.
That's where we learn how to do partnership. And so, looking at how that led me, and also faith. There's quite a bit about, there's a lot about death and dying. So the impetus for this book was just going through my 18 months of Conrad dying. I learned a lot about myself, and I dropped into new parts of myself that I had not allowed myself to participate with before. And it was hard. He got sick right before COVID, and then he was sick through COVID. So we had all the fun COVID medical experiences that one has. And it was super, super challenging. And in that challenge, as often challenges do, it grew me beyond expectation. And it was sort of, I was a mushroom in the dark, growing. And During that part, a friend of mine said, and this is in the book, said, you should take notes, right? Start an online journal. You'll need it later. I had no idea what he meant. I don't know that he knew what he meant, but I did that, and it became the basis for the book.
So then, can I ask you a
Started
question?
writing right away. Yeah.
So now that I know it's like there's a continuum, so there's
Yeah.
never like an answer and it stops. It's a journey. But so are you grateful for the mushroom in the dark part?
Absolutely.
Or are you
1000%? No,
Are
I'm
you-
so grateful.
okay? So
I'm
is there
so
any part of you was like, why is this necessary? Or no, you don't,
I
yeah.
don't do that. I don't do that thing. I don't do that thing. I mean, I don't do regret. It's not one of my things.
At all, ever?
Ever is a big word. I have these things where I say, oh, I wish I had spent a year studying acting in England.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of little thing,
Right.
and I mean, I've tried. I've said, oh, couldn't I have skipped that husband? Because I've been married 3 times. No, because it led to this, that led to this, that led to this.
Right.
I've lived so many lives in this life, and they've
Mhm.
all been quite interesting. So, and it explores some of my psychic abilities. I mean, it's all over the place. It's very the threads are obvious and clear, and this thing about faith, and I say this a lot: the only people who don't struggle with faith are people who've never had any. And
Wow.
that it's always, and I say that a couple times in the book, but I say that in life a lot. And so I think that's true with a lot of things. We have to keep reclaiming our ability to live life through love. We have to keep claiming our ability to believe, to have hope, and maybe more now than ever. We have to keep insisting that we can be better today than we were yesterday, whatever that means. And I think it's our job. And it's, of course, what happens in the second half of life more than the first half of life, where we're all about getting, at least according to Carl Jung, and I agree with him. But in the second half, we have to start looking at how are we giving back to the world? How are we giving back? Or am I just going to be about getting till my dying day? That just seems not such a good idea.
That seems like a good place for us to close out. By the way, on Audible, right there. There's the book.
Look at that! Look at that! Look at that!
So while we're on there,
you're going to add a / books to that.
Well, you hold on a second. While we're talking, I just purchased the book on Audible. So
did you?
Yeah. I know I got it, but when I'm on
That's
Audible
great.
anyway. Why not? Now it's done. Now you gotta purchase. And
Yay!
so I know you mentioned
my first online purchase.
I know that you said stucknomore.com/books. I'll get that up there, but also in the top left corner, if you guys are watching this on video, there's a QR code. You could just go with your phone, get the QR code. It'll take you right to the website, so you can purchase place your order right now. Pre-orders are there.
I am not worthy. I am not.
It's right there. It's, while we're doing the show, technology is amazing. While you were talking, I was able to just create a QR code. Listen, I'm also the guy that had to take 2 round trips, 40 minutes each yesterday to fix technology. So not always. So get the book or get it on Audible. But the QR code is up there on the screen, and then and check it out, because we're going to be talking much more about it as we dive into this journey.
I can't wait to tell you next week about how the launch went. Please show up to my party.
Find out.
I'm seeing
and
people in the local community show up to my party.
Yes. And we really want our listeners to DM us about the effects of this book. So go out, buy the book, read it.
Yay.
And then tell us the impact it's had. Share your stories about how you identified, what you learned, what epiphanies did you have? Like, we want to hear from you.